Alright everybody, let's turn on to page number 82 of your textbook. Focus on IELTS. Alright, page number 82 is about tsunami. This is section 4, so you're gonna hear a lecture. Alright, so let's have a look at the first part. Question number 1 to okay, question number 1, 2, 3. You see the diagram? Okay, so these are the waves, okay, and this is the main sea level. You're gonna have to label the diagram, the top of the wave, what's it called? And number 2 is the distance between the two waves, okay, what's it called? And number 3 is the lowest part of the wave. So what's it called? You have to write A, B, C, D, E, F, okay? A is wavelength. B is depth, C is crest, D is trough, E is wavelength, and F is the wave period. Okay, so now let's listen to the audio. All right, wait, okay. Let me turn off my microphone and camera.
Unit 10. Focus on listening to Tsunami. Section 4. You'll hear part of a lecture on natural hazards connected with the sea. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 3. Now listen carefully and label the diagram.
Good morning. Today we're going to look at natural hazards connected with the oceans. As you know, more than 2/3 of the Earth's surface is covered by water, and the main hazards, both at sea and along the shore, are caused by waves. Now, waves can be measured in various ways. So, first of all, I'd like to clarify a few of the terms we need to use. If you could just turn to the diagram on page 82. Right? Now, you see the waves running across the center and the seafloor at the bottom? Okay. Well, the highest point of a wave is called the crest. Remember the saying to be on the crest of a wave to be very successful? Yeah? Then an important measurement, wavelength, which is the distance between the highest point of one wave and the next. Wavelengths can vary enormously, from a few meters to hundreds of kilometers, believe it or not. So far, so good. What else? There's wave period, which isn't marked because it's a measurement of time. It's the time between one wave crest passing and the next. Then the lowest point of a wave is known as the trough. Can you see that? That leaves wave height, which is a measurement of the vertical distance between the crest of a wave and the trough. And finally, depth, which, as I'm sure you know, is the distance between the mean sea level and the seabed.
In the second part, the speaker discusses tsunami waves. Look at questions 4 to 10.
All right, now let's move it on to question number 4 to 9. Okay, how many words can you write? No more than 3 words or a number. Okay, this is about tsunami main cause. The recording is going to tell you about this and that causes, but what's the main cause? All right, and number 5, percentage occurring in Pacific Ocean, so it has to be a number percentage. And the typical wave height, typical usual, not like a remarkable one. So typical wave height, normal average wave height in the open sea. So it's a number again, and country where the largest tsunami ever recorded. So which country, okay? And the average wavelength, again, typical average, okay, wavelength in the Pacific. All right, and the travel at speeds up to means the maximum, the fastest speed is a number of kilometers per hour. Okay, and after that you move on to question number 10. Question number 10 is a multiple choice. Okay, what is the result of a Crescent City tsunami? There's a tsunami which hit the Crescent City, and what is the result? A, many people will kill or injure. B, many buildings were flooded. And C, many high-rise buildings were destroyed. Okay, so now let's get all the answers. I'm gonna play the audio, but first let me turn off my microphone and the camera.
Now answer questions 4 to 10.
Right. Well, most waves are produced by the effect of wind. But the most destructive waves of all are not, in fact, wind-generated. These are the famous tsunami. The word tsunami, by the way, is Japanese for harbor wave. The majority of tsunami are caused by earthquakes which occur under the seabed, although a few are also caused by underwater volcanic eruptions. Most tsunami, that's between 80 and 90%, take place in the Pacific Ocean. This is because the majority of the Earth's earthquakes happen around that ocean in the so-called Ring of Fire. While they're in the open sea, tsunami waves are generally quite small, rarely more than half a meter high, in fact. That usually surprises people. It's only when they reach the shore that tsunami waves reach such enormous heights. As a matter of interest, the largest tsunami ever recorded was 64 meters high. That was in Russia in 1737. It's also worth noting that tsunami have extremely long wavelengths. In the Pacific Ocean, for example, the average wavelength is 480 kilometers. This low height and long wavelength makes it difficult to detect a tsunami in the open sea. The deeper the water, the faster the tsunami travels. And in the Pacific, they can reach speeds of up to 700 kilometers an hour. In 1960, a tsunami generated by an earthquake in Chile reached Japan in only 22 hours. Let's look at another example now. The 1964 tsunami, which hit Crescent City in the far north of California. This was caused by an earthquake which happened in Alaska 4.5 hours earlier. The first two waves only hit the area around the harbor, but the third washed inland for a distance of 500 meters. It flooded 30 city blocks and destroyed a number of small one-story buildings. Luckily, there'd been enough warning for people to evacuate the low-lying areas close to the seashore. But the city authorities learned an important lesson, and they took steps to prevent the worst of the damage from happening again. They turned the main risk area into a public park and relocated all the businesses on higher ground. Incidentally, this approach has also been taken in Hawaii and Japan. Now, before we finish, I'd just like to look at one more hazard. Storm surge.
That is the end of the section. You now have half a minute to check your answers.